down in the last two corners. Oh, Rizzo goes down. He's going to get it done as he's pushed down the inside. And that's pushed Connor wide.
And it looks like Danny Webster is just about made it. He's going to make it there.
Oh, wow.
Dale Braden.
Got down the outside there, side by side, a little bit of contact. Odegaard has managed to catch the car. It's going to make it. First time in, three guys going side by side down into Curvin Grande. This is going to be epic.
Good evening everyone, welcome to FGM eCast for round 6 of the Aus Pro-Am Sim Series live from Imola. We're back in the GT3s this week with our sprint format, so we've got 20 minutes coming up to you shortly. Qualifying about 30 seconds or so away. Sorry, the stream is a little bit late tonight. We had some issues with Facebook not wanting to play. I've checked, looks like it's up and running, albeit it's not connected to our chat, so if you are in the chat, then we can't quite see what you're saying. I've got another stream open now, so I should be able to engage with you as well if you are out there in the wherever you are joining us on Facebook tonight. So thank you for your patience. I'm flying solo tonight. We've got a wounded Carl with me and a renovating Scott as well, so he will not be joining us either tonight, so you're joined by my dulcet tones. I am going to be very much improved by any contribution you might make in the chat. So we're about to jump into open qualifying as we do here on AusPass every week. So what we'll do first before we get into that is let's do a lap around this track on board with our hot lap driver. So if it is the first time you're joining us this week on FGM eCast for the Aus Pro-Am Sim Series, our qualifying period is 20 minutes. So you can see up on the right-hand side of your screen, or the left-hand side of your screen even, that we've got 20 minutes. They're already 2.5 minutes in so far. We've got a very, very full grid once again tonight here with, I think, around about 43 or 44 drivers jumping in. Last week we did run the Audi 90, I should say, at Charlotte Roval. It was our wildcard event. Quite a dynamic affair, shall we say. There was plenty of incidents, plenty of accidents, but some really close racing as well at the front. And that was between Jack Boyd and Shane as well. So it was a really closely contested race at the front there. Shane Wallace, that is, who is currently the series leader as well. So Jack's trying to close him down. So expecting to see some really good close racing here again tonight. It's a series or a track that most of our drivers will be familiar with. Of course, a very famous circuit. So throughout this 20-minute period, it's going to be all about trying to grab some track space. That's why the series administrators did actually extend the qualifying here to 20 minutes, just to make sure that everyone could get some free time out there, try and find a gap in the event. So 20-minute sprint race, the first one, followed by a 40-minute feature race. In that 40-minute feature race, the top 15 drivers will be reversed. And of course, that always brings some fireworks onto the screen as the top 15, as generally who are first or second try and make their way back through. So we'll let things settle down a little bit here. In terms of the way the series works as well, there are penalties applied, not in the Sebastian Vettel sense penalties, but there are penalties applied to each vehicle to balance out the power. It's called a success ballast, and the adjustments for this week are such that the Ferrari has lost 5 kilos in terms of its ballast. The Porsche has lost 2 kilos, so it's now running a 3 kilo weight penalty. Believe it or not, the BMW M4 has a whopping 19 kilos added to it, so that's up 5 kilos, and the Lamborghini's lost a couple, so it's down to an 18 kilo success ballast. So that's adjusted based on the results, and obviously the aim there is to keep as much parity between the vehicles as possible. So if you're winning every week, it's kind of like what they did in the old historic touring cars as well, or the Bianchi series, or whatever you know it as. But Muscle Car Masters, or they did the same thing there to try and balance out the cars with race results. It works very, very well here. Last week, I should say round 4, when we had last time out in these GT3s, we actually had a Lamborghini, a Porsche and a BMW as our top 3 cars. So it's a very effective system that the race admin have implemented to try and make sure that things stay nice and consistent. So just having a look at this now, there's a man who has been very, very impressive, given him a lot of coverage, and at the moment Daniel Webster is not only the leader of the amateur class in terms of qualifying position at the moment, he's second on the road, so a very, very impressive time. Shane Wallace has put in a 42.11, and Daniel Webster has cracked through with a 42.43, so a good initial effort there from Webster to get that lap down. He's obviously found a good spot on the track with a nice gap around him, and he certainly has, and he's managed to get that qualifying time down. So very, very impressive start there. There's plenty of time still to go, but a very, very impressive start for Daniel Webster in the race image, or image racing I should say, Porsche entry. It's the GT3R, so he's done a ripper job there as usual for Daniel Webster. So good stuff from him so far. You can also see there that Matt Andrews and Luke Fitt are up in well and truly inside the top 10 as well. So a number of the pro drivers have got a little bit of work to do, so expect it to shuffle around. We've got 13 minutes or so to go here, but a good result. Webster just drops down there. Jack Boyd, as you would expect, just punches in a 42.28, and Shane Wallace has done a 41.82 just to extend his lead at the front of this field. Let's have a look a little bit further down. We'll jump on board with the Batmobile, our defending champion Jeff Connell, being the number 1, as you would expect, of the season winner last year. He's adjusting to the Lamborghini. It looks fantastic in all black. Has become accustomed to associate that livery there with Mr. Connell. So he's just trying to get through at the moment. He's currently sitting down in 17th with a 142.87, so he's got a little bit of time to make up there, but not too far off the pace. should see a number of these drivers just putting the flash on there just to let the driver in front know that he is on a flying lap. Just moves to the side there on track, so that's some good stuff, good sportsmanship. But we do have generally at around about the 17-minute mark we'll have a flurry of activity with guys coming out of pit lane, fresh tyres, just to see if they can make one last push on track and get themselves up a few more positions. So if you are watching with us tonight, a big thank you and hello to you all out there. Big thank you as well to the series sponsors, HJ Plant Repairs, Simrigs.com, Phoenix Smokers, Computer Technology Corporation and 93PC, who are all on board this season, enabling the series to be run, prizes to be put up for grabs as well. So do check out those sponsors. They help keep the wheels turning on everything that we're doing, so certainly would appreciate it. So we've got to say hello to TrackCam for Gourmets. They have provided us with our cameras tonight. We jumped on board with them as a camera provider, so we'll have a few new options tonight in terms of things that we can look at. We're currently on the Formula 1 view, so this is obviously replicating the setup that you would receive if you were watching Formula 1 on TV. So we'll roll our way through these cameras tonight and have a look at what they've provided for us, including different car cams as well. So very, very good to have them on board and continue to help us work on improving our stream for all you viewers out there, so a big thank you to them. Looks like a bit of damage there on the left hand front corner of the Batmobile, so Connor will pull in no doubt and get that fixed before he heads out again, put down another challenge for a top 10 position. Definitely want to get inside that top 10 qualifying. For those of you wanting to find out, Daniel Webster still up in the top 5 at the moment, so he's going to well and truly start up towards the front of this field as things stand. In the chat, do drop us a hi or hello and let us know where you're watching from, who you're following tonight. If you so inclined, give the stream a share as well to let other people know what you're watching. But 9 minutes to go here. It's starting to get a little bit congested in this area of the track. So these guys just trying to find a clean lap. It's not a bad time to just duck into pit lane, sit there for a couple of minutes, wait for things to thin out. Carl's just jumped in there. G'day Carl, hope you're feeling a little better, mate. Yeah, the F1 cam pack went on to show the Ferrari being an Italian track. You would figure that might be the case. Potentially the Lamborghini, but no, it doesn't. It shares amongst those other vehicles on the track, so just having a little bit of a play around with it at the moment, but certainly a good thing for us. I'm just having a look through the field here to see who's got a little bit of work to do. Ross Rizzo, surprisingly, currently sitting down in 17th place on the grid in the Lamborghini. We had no driver swaps, so the drivers can change cars as well during this series. I think they're entitled to one car swap though, so we had no changes of vehicles between rounds. With that success ballast, it's really only down to getting accustomed to the setup. So it is fixed setup here. So while all of the drivers obviously aren't in the same car, there is parity between them. There's plenty of testing done throughout the lead up to these races, just to make sure that the lap times are good. They get a handful of drivers to drive all of the cars and have a look at the comparative lap times between them. Just make sure that things are nice and fair. It's worked out really well. It's been one of the successes of the series, is that ability to have it nice and fair between the 4 makes that are in it. It has expanded over the year as well. So last season only had the 3 vehicles running, but this season we expanded that out to 4. Porsche, Ferrari, BMW and Lamborghini. So things will probably just start to get a little bit more hectic on track now. Got pretty much the whole field out on track. So 51 registered drivers for tonight. Currently only 8 of them in pit lane. So the track is a full one. So if you can find some space now, it's time to really hammer down that lap. May not get another opportunity. Lap time's here, 1:42 or so, depending on who's driving. So really only got an opportunity now for about 3 laps, out lap, flying lap and a second one just in case in the bank if you get an off track or something like that, just to make sure that you can get yourself across the line. Everyone having put in a banker lap though, so there is not a car on the circuit that hasn't put down what they can. Well and truly tonight we're going to be in for a treat, because there is not a lot of time covering the top 22 cars. There is less than a second between provisional pole at the moment, Shane Wallace, and Glenn Rydell is currently in 22nd place. There's a second covering them. You've got another second covering 22nd, all the way down to 43rd place. So it's going to be extraordinarily tight, particularly at a circuit like Imola. It's a few good passing opportunities, but you're going to have to be particularly aggressive to make them work. So those outlaps are just starting to come in now. So you can see here Jack Wittes, who had a really strong performance a couple of weeks ago. He's just finding his space. He's just holding up a little bit here so that he can get a clean run. That Cheap Cars Brisbane sponsored entry. So he'll tune it up here, just be getting things nice and settled to head out and do a flying lap of Imola. See what he can do. 3.5 minutes left to go. The session hard stops, so as soon as that clock ticks 20, if you're not finished the lap, it should be that the lap is over. Had a little bit of variation in that, but that's generally the case. So we'll see what happens tonight. You don't want to be leaving it that late to get that lap in though. So Shane Wallace is out on his first flying lap out of the pits, and Jack Wittes looks to get his lap underway here. He's got a teammate behind him as well, in front of him I should say, so get a little bit of a benefit of the draft there. Looks like he wanted to make his way through. So down into turn 1 here is going to be a good opportunity to get by, and he just does that. His teammate pulls out of the way, under brakes through a reasonably rapid chicane. And out use all the exit curb there as he does. And down here again into another quick part of the track. So let's have the brakes there, get the car through, and you're off and running. So unimpeded so far. Jack Wittes goes round the sweeper. Cannot get held up here too much. Cuts through down on the inside, just stays to the left of Lamborghini there. That's good stuff from him. Wittes on a flyer. Uses all the exit curb there as you need to. Makes his run down the hill. Gets through this double right hand. It's a great section track when you get it right, and he's done just that. Just a lick on the inside on the right hand, curbing there. And around you go again. And he goes here into the chicane. It's pretty the slowest part of the track. And now he's on the run towards the finish line. Got that right-hander to get through here. Can catch you out a little bit because it wants to. He's pulled out of the lap, in fact, there. So can catch you out a little bit there if you don't get onto that inside curbing. You end up drifting wide onto that astroturf. You can see there's some drivers who've already done it, gone through the sand trap here. So Wittes is just slowing up. He's just trying to stay out of people's way. Probably won't jump out of the car here. In fact, no, he's going to get back on it again. And he'll go for another run. So Shane Wallace, last time around, has done a 41.76. So he did improve on his flying lap. Jack Wittes did as well on his last time around, 142.01. So he's currently moved up into second. Mitchell Bolton in third. He's jumped into pit lane. He will not get out again. Get the time done. So he's done. Daniel Webster done. He's in sixth. Jack Boyd on a flyer. Let's have a look at him. So he makes his way around. He's just in front of Jack Wittes. We'll keep an eye on Jack Wittes. This stage, Daniel Webster has taken out pole position for the amateur class with a fantastic effort in sixth place. Looks like he's going to stay there. Certainly won't be passed in his division. So what can Jack Boyd do? He's looking to move up a little bit if he can. Currently going to be starting on the third row. He's got only 5 100ths between himself and Dennis Gatarik. Dennis Gatarik out on a fly. He had a good week as well. A fortnight ago in the GT3s. Shane Wallace is in pit lane, so he's done. Said sitting on provisional pole at the moment. Oh, grabs a lot of curb there. Boyd in the BMW. Not sure how aggressive iRacing is on off tracks here. Could have picked one up there. And the session has finished, so he's going to be stuck where he was. Good effort though from him there. Just not quite able to improve though. So let's quickly bring up the grid. And we'll bring up the grid itself on the screen here. So we are at round 6 of the Aus Pro-Am Sim Series here on FGM eCast. It's Shane Wallace on the front row with Jack Wittes next to him. Row 2 is Bolton and Gatarik. Row 3 is Boyd and Webster with that fantastic effort in 6th position. And it's Joshua Fitt, Matty Cardione off row 4 with Maverick Benson and Michael Rosenblatt off 5. Then Scotty Gray and Ross Rizzo off row 6. As we flip over the page here, we've then got Danny Davison and Jeff Connell off 7 with Cheney and Han off 8. And we've got Matty Andrews and Luke Fitt off 9 with Luke Turner and Andre Heimgartner off 10. And following him is Glenn Rydell with Jordan Peter, followed by Lachlan Capel and Dustin Fletcher. Only halfway through the grid there with Brandon Levin and Tim Audie next. Then it's Timothy Hancock and Paul Mansell, followed by Oscar Glissett with John Merritt. Then it is Michael Fabian with Chris Sturdy. So we get back there, Aaron Lawler and Adam Funslow, followed by Bruce D. Carvalho and Richard Brookfield. Go one further back here, and it is going to be Derek Audie and Glenn Boyd, followed by Guy Leach and Dale Carpenter. We've got Tim Harris and Jeffrey Wang, followed by Hayden Jackson, Liam Caplice, Sam Lehman, John Baldwin, Andrew Hayes, Aaron DeLuca. And rounding out a grid is Brady Buchanan, Phil Orty and Graham Smythe. So, rolling start here. It's not going to be a huge distance for them to get things underway. We'll do our best. We've got another set of eyes tonight, so we'll see what we can cover. We'll try and get as much as we can in. Fortunately, the replays are working here, so we're going to be able to have a look at that. It says Josh Fitt crashed. I'm not too sure about that. There might have been a little bit of hold up at the front there. Just waiting for Shane Wallace to get that one done as well, so he's now back involved. So the pace car will get us underway here. I'll pull in and then we will be away. We've got 20 minutes for race 1 here. I'll tell you what, we just won't want to give any ground away whatsoever. We've got to close up here, so let's have a look at it as we get underway. We're going to come around that final corner. See there, they're a fair bit off the start. Just waiting for them to make their way here on FGM eCast. Here they come. The light goes green and we're off and racing. And we've got a horde coming towards us here. You can see a huge pack of cars trying to make their way down into turn one. It looks like everybody's going to get their way through cleanly at the front of the field. Wittes tried to make the move on Shane Wallace, wasn't quite able to get it done. So it looks like there's Andre Heimgartner, a couple of drivers have gone off track there, just trying to make their way through cleanly. No incidents that we can speak of, albeit we can see there a couple of the drivers falling back through the pack. However, at the front, it is Shane Wallace, Jack Wittes, Mitchell Bolton and Jack Boyd. Jack Boyd's up one spot, so is Daniel Webster. Dennis Katarik is the loser in that situation. He's dropped back 2 places to 6. Matty Carleone with Michael Rosenblatt, Josh Fitt and Ross Rizzo rounding out our top 10. Jeff Connell looks like he got involved in some early incident as he has jumped into pit lane immediately, so he's been turned around or had some damage at the start of the race that's taken him out. But we're getting up to that crunch section of the track. So slow right-handed there, up over the crest of the hill. We're looking at here is whether or not anyone's brave enough to make the attack down the inside into the chicane. Well managed there. Have a look through, try and look back through the pack as we can. But everyone looks like they're making their way around this track this first lap relatively calmly. Defence on there from Mitchell Bolton with Jack Boyd looking to press on him. And Jack Boyd does get the move done there down into the chicane, so good move from him to move up another position as we come around past pit entry for the first time. There will be a stop in this first 20-minute race. They're light fuel to start off with, and then have the remainder tank available beyond that as Wallace leads us across the line. He's half a second to the good over Jack Wittes, so that's a good opening lap from Shane Wallace. Jack Boyd not looking to waste any time at all. He's been pressed a little bit as there's a move down there from Dennis Katarik on Daniel Webster. So Katarik getting that position back on Webster. Webster's now got Matty Carleone to deal with, who's looking pacey, all better and ready to race tonight after a incident-filled race last week. Not to his normal standard, but he's back in the familiar formula that he loves. And you can see him here pressing his claim. Daniel Webster defending as well. We've got Rosenblatt and Joshua Fitt behind him, and there's a Lamborghini there. That is Ross Rizzo, Captain Fuel Saver. He's putting a press on as well, so they're very racy in this mid-pack here. It's like Webster's just struggling a little bit early on here as he is defending. Still well and truly away the leader of the amateur class. Andre Heimgartner making his way back up the field as well, so he had a little bit of an off there at the start in the all-black Porsche, taking a leaf out of Jeff Connell. But you can see the damage there on the left-hand front corner of that car, so just getting involved in something a little earlier on pushed him wide. You got Brandon Levin in the polar opposite, the yang to the yin, the yin to the yang, in the all-white Lamborghini. So let's get him and Jeff Connell next to one another for a photo shoot. Just makes the move there down the inside, Brandon Levin. So he gets that done. Dennis Katarik first to pull the pin. He's trying to do the undercut. Can't even catch up with him. He's trying to do the undercut, jumping into pit lane. So he's trying to get that done early and see if he can create that gap that he needs to perhaps jump up a position or two through the pit lane. Having a look here at Christopher Henn, he's involved in a battle for 11th, up 5 places. Brandon Levin, biggest mover of the night so far, he's up 11 spots, including Hayden Jackson, I should say, as well, and Brady Buchanan. They're all movers and shakers so far in this race. Jack Wittes currently fastest man on track, a 1:42.03. Fair gap still between himself. 3/10, I say fair gap. 3/10 between himself and Shane Wallace. Jack Boyd is coming though as well, so Boyd looking to put the pressure on. So once again, Lamborghini, Porsche, BMW, and we've got Porsche, Lamborghini, and Porsche. So a fairly even spread across the top of the grid at the moment. The 898 now coming under pressure from Jack Boyd. Boyd won't want to know that he can't let Wallace get too far away, so will Wittes. They'll be pushing. When do they pull in? Do they try the undercut? Do they stick out on track at the moment? Keep battling in this lead pack. Probably the way to go. I don't think anyone's holding anyone up at the moment. So we'll look a little bit further back down the track there. Daniel Webster seems to have settled now. Josh Fitz jumping into pit lane, being followed in by Scotty Gray. The Mad Cow Racing team entry, one of my favourite liveries. So a number of the drivers jumping in now. Andre Heimgartner, Tim Hancock, Lachlan Capel, as well as Jordan Peter, have all decided that now is the time to pit. So from here they'll be able to fuel up to the end. We're 5 minutes through the race already. How will they go on their outlet? Obviously having to carry that little bit of extra fuel. They will have all done plenty of testing though, so they will know what they can and can't do, how the car will respond to that fuel, as we're on board now with Daniel Webster. The Race Image Motorsport entry. Performance of the night so far from him in qualifying. He's got plenty of work to do to try and keep that position, currently running in 7th outright. And the leader in our AM category, there's a rule that's been brought into play called the Jeff Connell rule. It's the Jeff Connell rule 1.0, which basically means if an AM driver performs outside of the I guess the rules of fairness of an amateur participant, they get promoted to the pro category. So then he'll have to watch out with his recent performances. He may be a candidate for that. And, Jeff Connell rule 1.0 there is a partner, Jeff Connell 2.0 rule, which was implemented to change some rules. A bit of Larry Perkins about Jeff Connell in the way he applies the rule book, so looks for some holes and finds them very well and uses them to his advantage. One of the things we love about him, other than the all-black livery, of course, that he sports. As you can see there, Ross Rizzo just jumping into pit lane. So that'll mean Maverick Benson moves up into 8th position, running behind Daniel Webster. And at the front, there's been something happen here. There's been a change. I'll just scroll back and see if I can find out where that was. Looks like Wallace has just run wide. Let's have a quick look at that, because that was a change for the lead there. Yeah, he's just grabbed the brake a little there, or just not quite got it turned in. So uncharacteristic for Wallace, and that's let Jack Widders and Jack Boyd into the lead of this race. So you can see they're back in formation here as we're on live again with this lead pack. So window of opportunity there for Boyd and Widders as well to run at the front. Mitchell Bolton's got a little bit of a gap to make up to this pack. I tell you who is under pressure is Oscar Glasser. He's got Tim Auty all over the back of him. And, there has been a driver change there. The image on screen wrong. Apologies there, Oscar. I didn't quite get that one up in time. But the Lamborghini looking very good, and Tim Auty looking like he's got some pace on, wants to press the issue here. As Shane Wallace has made a move back past Jack Boyd to move back up into 2nd place. Jack Widders trying to open the gap there. He's half a second up the track. Trying to keep an eye on everything. And there he goes into pit lane, Jack Widders. So I reckon he's going to try, if he can, get a good cut. Wallace, he'll be wanting to jump him in the pits. Boyd's run with him. Matty Cartaglione as well. So a fair few of the drivers that were out, had remained out, have jumped in this lap. I reckon Jack Boyd, you'll find him, there'll be a little bit of monkey see, monkey do. Wallace just grabbed a little bit of the dirt. They got a little bit of a shake. He's pushing hard in the Lambo. That's what we like to see. A very skilled iRacer. As is Jack Boyd. It's no mean feat at all. Boyd just off on the inside of the track there. He is out of fuel. Jack Boyd is out of fuel. Well, this is big news with championship implications. Is he out of fuel, or has he had some issue on board? No, he is out of fuel. Wow, that is some mistake. We've not seen it from Jack Boyd before. He's just got caught up in the race, you'd say, and currently that means that he is going to have to try and make it back to pit lane. You can hear him there. He's actually in 6th gear, just trying to save fuel rolling around the track so that he doesn't have to tow. Clutch in now as well as he tries to make it happen. He's going to take a shortcut here, cop the penalty, which is actually a really smart thing to do, because even though you'll get a time penalty for it, it means the car can roll straight ahead. He didn't have to go through the chicane, so it gives him a much better chance of rolling back into pit lane. So gets the advantage of downhill here. And Shane Wallace has jumped into pit lane as well, so he was just a little bit short, was Jack Boyd, on fuel to make it round for the full lap. That's agonising to try and make his way back around. But he's done a fantastic job because it was way quicker than getting a tow, and he's going to make it just. Going to make it get a full head of fuel in this one, and then he'll have to get to work and try and make his way back out and around. So bad luck there for Jack Boyd, but he's managed it as best he can, and that means that Jack Widders will definitely resume the lead of this race. You would assume Shane Wallace on his way out of pit lane now as Jack Widders comes through. How is it going to pan out? Wallace looks like he's just at the end of pit lane there, so he's going to have to get up to speed. Widders up to speed. So how is this going to work? How close will the gap close down to here? With just under 9 minutes to go, so out of pit lane the gap is 1.5 seconds. So Wallace not needing to take quite as much fuel as Widders in the Porsche. So he was only stationary for 9 seconds, Widders for 10, so that has opened that gap up at the front. But Widders in some clear space here with Dennis Guitaric. Not too far off in the background. He's got about 2 seconds over Guitaric as well, and then things pretty calm all the way back through. Maverick Benson currently getting the hurry along from Christopher Henn. So he's got some work to do in the Injectors Online Racing entry, the 51 entry there. So he's equally trying to chase down Scotty Gray. We've got a good pack here from sort of Daniel Webster back to Christopher Henn. And a little bit further back, Matty Carleone. Another good battle that's going on is this one here. Jordan Peter with Andre Heimgartner and Lachlan Capel. Sorry, Lachlan. So this is the battle for 18th, 19th and 20th. John Merritt not too far off joining this battle, as well as Adam Funslow. You can see there the queue starting to form. Goes right back to Tim Audi. So there's going to be plenty on here because we're starting to play on the fringes of that reverse top 15. So at the moment Luke Turner in 15th. Not that any of the drivers drive for that whatsoever. We've not seen that at all. So they'll be wanting to get as high up as they can. And once again, Jordan Peters. Oh, there's a car spun there. Looks like that's Brandon Levin in the all-white Lamborghini. It's just rotated. It's Andre Heimgartner here who puts a move on Jordan Peter. And he gets that done. So Heimgartner there. Oh, geez, just struggling there under brakes. The looks like that was Lachlan Capel there. Just managing to get that one pulled up and not cause any issues. So good driving there from Lockie. Just trying to press the cause. He's under pressure from John Merritt behind him. The TM Racing Pulse Tuning sponsored entry. There's a good little battle developing here. Who's going to have a look down the inside? There's a Lamborghini. There's the Ferrari there, sorry I should say, of Tim Audi trying to force the issue. He's gone round the outside as well. Gets covered off by Adam Funslow. This battle heating up. This is for 22nd. On track, but in terms of in category 18th and 19th, so I must say up the front, Tanya Webster, Luke Fitt fighting for the lead of the amateur class. There's a huge pack of cars developing right here. Another battle a little bit further back, Sam Lehman and Glenn Boyd having a little bit of a stoush. 2 BMWs, and there's plenty going on just behind them as well. Is the Locked On Lads Racing entry driven by Tim Harris. He's just made the move on Dustin Fletcher there as well. Fletcher under pressure from Brady Buchanan. So Locked On Lads Racing podcast as well is on. So if you're interested in all things iRacing, jump on and have a look or a listen even to their podcast with the boys. I think they've got John Hancock on from 24/7 Race Control this week in this week's episode, so have a listen, give it a like and a share and what have you. But Tim Harris there currently running in 35th. As you're wondering, Jack Boyd after refueling's popped back out in 15th place, so not a bad, not the outcome you would want, but could have been a lot worse could have ended up well and truly towards the back of the field if he had to tow that car. So managed it very well to get it back to pit lane. Poor man, so you can just see him off in the distance there with Andre Heimgartner, Daniel Cheney, Jordan Peter just getting a move done as well down into the chicane. So it's pretty hot and heavy running here. The 20-minute race will go by in the flick of an eye for these guys. So Wallace has sort of opened up that gap a little bit at the front, so he's now 2 seconds to the good at the lead of this pack, with Jack Wittes in second and Dennis Gitarik up into third. That's Mitchell Bolton, aggressive on the curbs there, followed by teammate Michael Rosenblatt, then Joshua Fitt. Ross Rizzo coming through as well as Daniel Webster currently running inside the top 10. That's Scotty Gray, Mad Cow Racing entry. He's still got Maverick Benson filling his mirrors. That is our current top 10. So good driving so far tonight, as we normally see from the Aus Pro-Am Sim Series. This is no different. Good, competitive, hard racing between all these guys who are now getting accustomed to one another on the track. Sort of the group. Oh, there's a big slide there as well. The Scotty Gray in the Porsche. Maverick Benson just applying the pressure, putting the screws on. Jump on board with Benson now. He's going to get, oh, just not quite far enough up there. Would have been in an awkward position on the exit here. Grabs plenty of that AstroTurf. Goes into the sweeper. Going to get good drive out if he can. It's just not quite there, the grip. Benson still tries to find his way past Scotty Gray. Daniel Webster is putting pressure on the back of Ross Rizzo as well, so potentially a move for position here from Webster. Approaching just on 2 minutes left in the race, so going to get this lap and one more in before the race is over. There's going to be some very, very close finishes throughout the field here. Scotty Gray still defending from Maverick Benson. Benson now gets down the inside. It's far enough up here. He's going to be able to close the deal out through the chicane as he grabs a heap of curb. He needed to get that thing pulled up, and he's done it. Good move there for Maverick Benson to move himself up into 9th position. Into 8th position, I'm sorry. So he's done the job there. Just having a look back through the field here to see what else we've got on the cards in terms of close battles as we get towards the finish. Here is one group, which is Liam Caplice. He's got Dustin Fletcher all over him. Brady Buchanan, Phil Auty in this pack. So you can just see there a little bit of defending needing to be done from Liam to make sure that he retains that position. He's opened up a gap a little bit there. Got out of the corner better. Some slower cars on the way through there. Sam Lehman has moved into 36th position. Brady Buchanan is right behind him, as is Phil Auty and Derek Auty. So it is a congested group here down in the 36th, well, battle for position 36. PC sponsored entry. He's driving a good race so far. Sam Lehman up 9 positions. So it looks like Michael Rosenblatt might have been concerned that he wasn't going to make it on fuel. He's ducked in right on the last lap. So this will be it as Shane Wallace makes his way around again. See just the gap there. So just that extra lap causing a little bit of a problem for Rosenblatt, not confident in making it all the way around. He may not be the only driver. He jumped into pit lane early, so could be a couple of our early stoppers who might struggle a little bit. Jack Boyd up into 14th, so he has recovered from that fuel episode. Don't really know how to describe it. He ran out of fuel. Trying to be polite for him. Unusual mistake for him, uncharacteristic as see Wallace launch the Lamborghini there. The service department nightmares. But he's been very strong in the Lamborghini. And continues that with a what will be a strong win in the first race here. So he is on his way to cross the start-finish line. Shane Wallace and take out race 1, round number 6 in the 97. Injectors on line entry. A good win there for him. Jack Whittis comes across the line in second. It's going to be Dennis Katarik in third. A good job from him as well. As we're now looking, Joshua Fitt, Ross Rizzo come across the line. Daniel Webster finishes there. Maverick Benson. A good run from those drivers. Jack Boyd looks like he's going to get his way up and just get across the line in 13th. Luke Fitt 14th. We've got Paul Mansell in 15th. Andre Heimgartner gets across the line ahead of Jordan Peter. There's another close battle going on here. There's plenty of drivers stopped on the track there. So it makes it interesting for them to try and get across the line without causing carnage. As some of the drivers still compete for position. But that is race over. Race 1 done here. And we will be flicking over to race 2. There'll be a short 5-minute warm-up session between the two races. And will be that reverse grid top 15 race. So Paul Mansell and Luke Fitt will start on the front row of the grid, with Jack Boyd and Luke Turner off row 2, inverted top 15. So a nice clean race there from everyone. It's good to see. As I said, not unusual at all to this category. The Aus Pro-Am Sim Series here on FGM eCast for your Tuesday night. Thanks to HJ Plant Repairs, Simrigs.com, Phoenix Smokers, Computer Technology Corporation, and 93PC. Those Phoenix Smokers have got a couple of deals on at the moment as well. So if you're looking or you're in the market for a meat smoker, jump across and give them a look. They support the stream and support the iRacing or sim racing sector, so give them a bit of love as well back in return. You can definitely grab yourself a meat smoker from there. And if you are looking to get into sim racing as well, simrigs.com, between them and 93PC, can set you up with just about everything that you need to get yourself on the sim. So come and have a race out here in the Aus Pro-Am Sim Series with us. So Hayden Jackson's jumped out on track. We'll give him a bit of a look. Of course, the owner of HJ Plant Repairs, our inaugural sponsor, supported the series across the 4 seasons now. And talking with the owners of the series, or I should say the organisers of the series, and they can't believe how big the series has become. Found the formula for the drivers that works, and it's just continued to build. Already working on season 5, which will be the last season of the year before we get into sort of a short little fun run towards the end of the year like normal as we get towards Christmas and festive season. Can't believe we're already talking about that, given where we are in proceedings. So I was talking earlier about the car swaps, and just to update you all, Paul Mansell switched from a Lamborghini to the Ferrari, and Mike Casey from the Lamborghini to the Ferrari. So there's one change that's been made between, and Jordan Peter has gone from the Ferrari to the Porsche. So if few small changes there in between when where we had the wild card round. They do get one swap a season, so those drivers are done and run. And they'll have to stick it out in those cars. As you said, the parity gets adjusted here every week. There's a weight balance of power adjustment made to the vehicles just to make sure that we get a good mixture of the results here. And again tonight, seeing the success of that with a Porsche Ferrari, a Porsche Lamborghini and a BMW finishing in the top 3 positions in race 1. So see how we go in race 2 coming up very shortly. We've only got about a minute and a half to go here. I should say about 2.5 minutes even, if my maths will allow. And we are at Imola. This is for round 6 of the Aus Pro-Am Sim Series. So if you have just joined us, thank you very much for jumping onto the stream. Keep us company, let us know where you're calling from, where you're watching from, and what you're enjoying about the stream, what you don't like about the stream as well. If there is something that you don't like, we'll take feedback either way. But certainly appreciate you jumping in, and if you are liking what you're seeing, obviously encourage you to share the stream or subscribe, and do follow us along. It does help us continue to grow this channel, which is growing really well, I don't mind saying. So thank you to all of those who loyally tune in every week and keep us company. Of course, we are back. Got a week off from the Xfinity Thunder Series with ANSCAR. That will return in a week or two. So tomorrow night, not our usual streaming slot. I've got something else to bring you, of course, but we'll keep that a secret until tomorrow night. And then on Thursday, hopefully back with my partner in crime, Carl Withy. It'll be better, and we'll be heading off for the third last round of the Cup, ANSCAR Cup Series before we head into the chase. So that season is really, really starting to heat up. Many drivers now just making their plans around how they're going to ensure they get into that chase and try and have a crack at the title for the year. So plenty to come here on FGM Ecast this week before we have a slightly shortened schedule next week with the trucks also on holidays. So do tune in. Of course, we post a lot of our stuff on YouTube as well, some custom content, so make sure you're following us along there, turn on those notification bells so that you do get our content as early as it comes out, sort of broadening what we do broadcast on the channel. And some retro gaming will be making its way back in as well, which is something that we did this time last year, but haven't had time to get back into. So there are plans in the works to make that happen again with Reese Ashmore and myself. So plenty going on. Make sure you tune in. But before we get to that, let's get back into what we're here for tonight, which is the Aus Pro-Am Sim Series. We're going to get cracking on our second race here. You can see them jumping on the grid. Let's have a quick look at it, see what it looks like now. So, as I said, that reverse top 15. So we've got Paul Mansell and Luke Fitt off row 1 with Jack Boyd and Luke Turner off row 2. The only blessing of running out of fuel is that Jack gets to start up towards the front. Christopher Henn, Matty Catalleone off row 3 with Scotty Gray, Maverick Benson off 4. Then Daniel Webster and Ross Rizzo off 5. Joshua Fitt and Mitchell Bolton off row 6. As we take another step back, it is Dennis Katarik and Jack Wittes off 7 with Shane Wallace and Andre Heimgartner off row 8. Jordan Peter, Daniel Cheney off 9, Lachlan Capel and John Merritt rounding out our top 20. Which is what we'll cover off as usual in this second race. So, as you can see there, it's going to be a bit of a tough battle. Those guys back in the pack, but that's why they do it. You'll see there'll be some fairly hard charging go through here. Shane Wallace won't be waiting around to make his way up. What a fantastic sight that is, with 51 cars on the grid. So Paul Mansell's going to lead us away. He's no slouch either. Neither is Luke Fitt. So it's going to be really tight up the front. And another thing to make note of, our front row of the grid is one pro driver in Paul Mansell, one amateur driver in Luke Fitt. So they share the grid equally there. So fantastic result for the series to have them at the start But let's see how this one pans out. We've got 40 minutes here. There's going to be a pit stop required. That is absolutely for sure. And it will be Paul Mansell who's going to lead us away. The pace car will pull into pit lane there. Things magical. You can see it just slide into pit lane there somehow. But we're going to get underway here. 40 minutes of fast action coming your way on FGM E-Cars, the Aus Pro-Am Sim Series. About to get underway. The formation just not quite there. Luke Fitt will maybe get pulled up for that, but we're off and running. Paul Mansell drops the hammer, and it is bulk cars. Oh, there's someone turned there. It looks like Matty Cardioni might have got in. There's a huge prang, huge accident there. Back in the field, you can see it. The track looks blocked, absolutely blocked there. We'll try and unravel all that. We'll go back to it. There's some heavily damaged cars at the front there, so very, very uncharacteristic at the start of this race. Excuse me as I'm choking there, just very dry, and someone's turned around there as well. I think that might be Luke Fitt, who's turned around. So there's accidents aplenty at the start of this race. This is something that we don't normally see from the Aus Pro-Am Sim Series at all. And the reverse top 15 race has unleashed some hell on the front of the field. There's plenty of damage all the way through the field now. And what it has meant is that Paul Mansell and Jack Boyd have got out the front. But I tell you what, Ross Rizzo up 7 places into 3rd position. Shane Wallace already up into 4th. And Mitchell Bolton, Dennis Katarik, Joshua Fitt, Lachlan Capel, Jack Wittes and Jordan Peter ran out our top 10. There is a massive amount of cars with damage on them as a result of that early prank. Let's go back and try and quickly unravel that one where we can. Have a quick look on board. Just trying to work out where it all started. It's a long list of cars, so whenever something happens, the old monitor goes berserk. But Paul Mansell heads across the line in the lead of this one. He's got Jack Boyd on the outside. He's defending heavily. So we'll jump back in a minute and have a look at that start. As Jack Boyd here, just clips Mansell there as well. So it's a little bit loose at the start of this race. There's plenty of drivers jumped into pit lane. I'm going to jump back quickly and have a look at this start here. Jump on board with Matty Cardioni, and we'll just slow this one down here. So it just unravels behind him. In fact, there were 2 separate incidents. You can see all the way back, further back in the pack there, that there was a little bit more going on. Derek Audie there parked sideways across the track, so he's got a fair bit of damage on that Ferrari. And he's just trying to turn it around, and then in a second, you just see more impact there. The racecraft sponsored entry trying to get through. There were cars flying in the air everywhere, so we'll have to try and unravel that one a little bit more later on, but it's kind of hard to see who might have been at fault. But at the front, Paul Mansell, Jack Boyd battling away. Boydie on the lights. He knows that Wallace is coming, so is Ross Rizzo. So there's a little bit to be done there as well at the back. But it's on at the front here. Boyd wants to get by. He's putting the pressure all over the back of Paul Mansell in the Ferrari. Mansell's got to get through here, get a good exit. And that BMW, it looks like that maybe got a slowdown penalty there. Jack Boyd, because he's going real slow. Unless maybe he's... it could be something to do with what we saw earlier on in the race. And that BMW back on songs. So... thought maybe he might have been having an issue with his pedals or something like that, which would explain what we saw earlier on. But no, that definitely must have been him out of fuel. So at the front though, Paul Mansell running away. Boyd must have got a slowdown penalty there. He was just trying to make sure he got a really good exit to try and get the move done on Paul Mansell. He wasn't able to now, so the teammates Paul Mansell and Shane Wallace currently first and second in this race. Can't believe there's only 5 minutes gone with everything that has happened. There was just joined us, a huge incident at the start of the race that involved probably about half a dozen or so cars in the field, a car on its roof. So a very, very hectic start to this one. Settled down a little bit now. You have jumped on the stream. Thank you very much for joining us. Do make sure you leave a like or a follow to stay up to date with what's going on here on FGM eCast with the Aus Pro-Am Sim Series. So it is Mansell out in front. Shane Wallace, fastest lap of the race so far, a 42.24. So he is flying. It's going to be challenging for the lead. Daniel Cheney currently leading our amateur class at the moment. That is the 444 entry on screen now. So he's going to be into 9th position. Doing a good job. We've had a amateur series runner up inside the top 10 all night tonight. So it's been really good driving from them. Just shows you how close this category is, with less than half a second covering the top 26 drivers in this category. We've got 52 entries tonight here at Imola, so probably bound for a big one. Didn't see it in the first race, we did so see it, however, in this second race. So Jeff Connell, who had a heavily affected race 1, did get back out on track. He's trying to make his way back up through the field here, the defending champion. He's currently doing a ripping job of it. So far, he has moved himself up 32 positions. He started in P44, my apologies, and he's currently running now in 12th position. So it won't be all that long before you start seeing Jeff Connell pressing his claim for a top 10 position as he resumes pursuit of the front of the field. Got involved early in an incident, didn't quite have the qualifying run that he would have liked to have had, but he's making up for it now in race 2, avoiding the early incident, and currently pressing his claim for a top 10 position. He's on the back of Andrew Hayes in the Hayes Media entry, and he'll be looking for a way around him as well. It's jumbled up the pack significantly as well here, so we've got a number of cars in the 30 odd positions gained entry as Mitchell Bolton jumps into pit lane. So he's going to get in early, get his fill round about this time. So you start to see a number of the drivers jump in. They'll be able to fuel to the end of this race. But it is now Shane Wallace who's made the move for the lead of the race. He's now in P1. Ross Rizzo coming hard as well onto the back of the Ferrari. Injectors online. Entry of Paul Mansell, so he'll be looking to make things up there. Jack Boyd's just fallen off a little bit after he got that slowdown penalty, and Dennis Katarik is having another good drive tonight, looking to put pressure on him in the Pulse Tuning BMW. Jack Widders there just at the top of the screen has John Merritt as well, giving him a little bit of a hurry along. So a couple of drivers who won't be too happy about that early incident, having to fight their way back up through the field. They do get one fast repair, however, in this class, so they are able to get their car fixed. So those drivers involved early on, Daniel Webster, Matty Carleone, etc., who jumped into pit lane on lap 1, will have their cars fixed. Phil Audie will be another one who'll be happy for that, or sorry, I should say Tim Audie, after the substantial early damage he copped. So he's now back out there and running. So I have to play the long game, try and manage their race right through to the end here. Sure, there'll be some stewards inquiries made at the end of the race. There is not live race control for this one, but there certainly are stewards looking into things at the end. As you can see there, the train just starts as our top 5 drivers jump into pit lane. It's about as long as they can run. Jack Widders joins them. John Merritt will come in as well, so it'll just start a big procession here. Anyone brave enough to stay out? We did see someone run out of fuel in race 1, so I think this is about the limit for the drivers to get through, as we do see, in fact, a lapped car go through. So he's already been through pit lane. So we'll try and pick up the leader of the race. Looks like it will probably be Shane Wallace who will get out into the lead of this one, as he is making his way back down pit lane now. Off to the exit. Michael Rosenblatt still out on track, so he has already pit. So he's going to jump up a number of places here. make his way up into second as Shane Wallace does get out on track early. The sun's starting to set here at Imola. Of course, the sun, it will not get dark before we finish. Still got 30 minutes of racing to go. And Shane Wallace, the race leader. Michael Rosenblatt in second place. And he's got Danny Davison right behind him as well. So a couple of new guys to the front of the field. Good to see. They did pit early, and it looks like they've got a little bit of an advantage out of that. The clean air has helped them to just open up a gap over Ross Rizzo, who also ran taken on more fuel. Rizzo there with an extra 6 seconds, so he's trying to do the long run. So we'll see a couple of the guys jump in, no doubt, for a second stop. Ross Rizzo, one of the best on track at managing his fuel. Some say he even has gumboots filled with fuel, just sloshing around in the Lamborghini there, just to give him that extra mileage that he seems to get out of that car. So it's no, just a really, really good driver. Understands the craft and knows how to manage a stint. But he's got Jack Boyd all over the back of him at the moment. So that battle has continued out of pit lane. Boyd just closing up a little bit there with the benefit of a slightly shorter stop. So it's around about a second in terms of stop time advantage for Jack Boyd over Ross Rizzo. So this is the battle here for positions 4 and 5. Jump on now with Jack Boyd. Boyd racing entry, so last time around 2:13, but of course that is a pit inhibited lap, so he was really aggressive through the chicane here in the first part of this race. Got the slow down penalty, which just dropped him down a couple of places. He was trying to challenge for the lead. I'd say it was just there, he might have got a little bit too long on the AstroTurf and copped it. Would have even been on the exit here, so new to iRacing, you're not sure what we're talking about. They will give you a slowdown penalty if you do run wide or do use the liberties of the track a little bit more than you're supposed to. And that will cost you some time there, but really just not able to do much at the moment with Ross Rizzo. That BMW be full of fuel. So gap at the front has widened ever so slightly between Wallace and Danny Davison. So about 3.5 seconds now between them. Ross Rizzo in the drag has got Jack Boyd all over him. I think just held up a little bit there by I think it was Dustin Fletcher just off on the infield, trying to stay out of everybody's way. So doing a good job of it there on the grass. Let's have a little bit of a look further back through the field now, because there's plenty of battles going on. See here if Boyd gets the move done. Not able to quite do it with Rizzo knowing what he is up to. We do have a little bit of a look back here. So we've got this group: Jordan Peter, Daniel Webster, Joshua Fitt, Glenn Cito Rydell involved in this one as well. So we've got a good solid pack here. This is a battle on the fringe of the top 20. You can see how busy it is on track as well. Just got packs of cars forming. As we take one look further back, this is Aaron DeLuca, Christopher Henn and Guy Leach all fighting away here for positions 22 through 26. And as we drop a little bit further down the field, John Baldwin's got Lachlan Capel charging down on him, along with Richard Brookfield and Tim Orty. And we'll be in reasonably unfamiliar territory, those gentlemen, used to running towards the front of the field normally. Fantastic looking livery in the dusk. There's that one there. Of John Baldwin. So a cracking looking livery. In fact, it's one of the best. Anyway, there's another battle going on here. It is between Dale Carpenter and Michael Rosenblatt. Again, this is for position 10. So, and Dale Carpenter is one of our AM drivers, so he's pushing the top 10 here with Daniel Cheney, Luke Fitt. So some advantage there for our early stoppers. They just seem to have got a little bit of open territory and able to make the undercut work for them. Doesn't surprise me in such a big field. Oscar Gleiser here has got Jordan Peter giving him some trouble. They've not got far to go before they get into another pack. So this is Bolton, Ficini and Carpenter just in front. Braden Levens just jumped into pit lane. So he did stop on lap 1. So we get towards that 20-minute mark. Wouldn't surprise me if we start to see that early group jump in and feel themselves to the end. They'll be able to run for 20 minutes on a tank. In fact, we'll probably look at around about that 20 to 25 minute mark is where they'll be able to fuel to the end. So maybe a little bit early there for Brandon. Just see, none of these drivers will take tyres, I wouldn't have thought, with the track cooling. So a quick look here at the temperature. So it's 27 degrees on track at the moment. It's actually a reasonably pleasant setup for racing. They'll be working up a sweat in the sim rigs though. There's just no break at all, particularly when you're running in a grouping like this. There is 110% concentration required, as it looks like. I think we're going to see Mitchell Bolton make a move here down the inside, gets it done. So he moves up a position. Gets that done over Daniel Cheney. Looks like the Lamborghini of Oscar Gleiser is going to make a move as well. He gets that done very, very aggressive there, Gleiser. And in fact, you just see, I think with the Cheney having to stick onto the outside of the curbing there, he's just lost the back end of the Porsche. And that's swung him around. So very, very heavy defending here from Gleiser on Jordan Peter, who got a good run on him. And they're doing a solid job here, these two. Battling away. I think you're going to see here a move from Jordan Peter. Just Lambo's very, very heavy defending there from the 404. Just have to be careful about moving around on the track too much. It's not the sort of thing that the stewards would favour. But every right to defend his position though, and he intends to do just that. He's got the elbows out. And the 404 Ferrari. Be a move on here. You'd think that Peter would look down the inside. He is, and he's got a good run down the straight here, and he gets it done under brakes, moves to the outside of the track, gets in heavy on the brakes to the chicane, gets the job done and moves up one position. Jordan Peter into P12. So good run from him. I'll tell you what else is going on is at the front here. This is for 6th, 7th and 8th. Jack Wittes, Dennis Kotarik and Jeff Connell battling away. As we said, Jeff Connell starting right down the back. He has moved up 36 positions from his starting place. So that is an absolutely epic effort to get himself up 36 positions so far, and be battling out for P7 with Jack Wittes and Dennis Kotarik. Biggest move of the night though so far is Danny Davison. He's still got another stop to make. He's up 46 spots. He started almost dead last and has just ridden his luck a little bit through that early incident, and has managed to find himself in P2 as it sits at the moment. So expect to see the majority of the field pit again. In fact, most of them will have to definitely pit again. A little bit of an opening here for Wittes over Kotarik, with Connell putting pressure on him. So just defending Kotarik. He's got that awkward situation that he's in as Connell gets down the inside, deep under brakes, and the Lambo switchbacks on here for Kotarik. Looks like he's going to get it done. He gets the drive back out of the corner, and Connell will have to do it all again. If Kotarik holds that position with the drag race down the straight, he will be in the better spot to defend going into turn 1. They might go 2x2 though. If they do, as Connell there just moves over, shuts the door as hard as he can on Kotarik, and closes that one out. So the Lambo just getting it there in the legs department over the Porsche, and he's able to close that one out. So a hard fought position there, but Jeff Connell moves up one more. He's in P7 now, and he's on his way. Shane Wallace last time around 1:42.17. Fastest lap of the race as the race leader. Welcome to everyone who's joined in on the stream. Thanks for the likes and the love, we appreciate it, and hope you are enjoying what we're doing here on FGM Ecast. Do let us know where you're watching from. Don't be afraid to share the stream and like it as well if you're enjoying what you're seeing. You are watching the Aus Pro-Am Sim Series on FGM Ecast. We're just about halfway through our feature race here tonight. There's Shane Wallace leading at the moment. So Hayden Jackson's just had an issue in the background as Wallace starts to lap this field. So he's just coming up on John Merritt who got caught up in that earlier incident as well, so he's fighting his way back. But he's about to go a lap down in the BMW. So the Lamborghini of Wallace makes the move past here in the drag down the front straight. And they will let that move go through. Danny Davison jumping into pit lane now to serve his pit stop. He had a good strong run there in second. And speaking of second, that means Jack Boyd back up into second place. He's got a fair old gap to address between himself and Wallace at the front. 11.5 seconds, but that's a good recovery from Boyd, particularly after race 1 where he ran out of fuel. So he'll be pleased with that. He's got Ross Rizzo behind him, so Rizzo did fuel the same amount as him, so they are on the same pit strategy. Imagine Wallace may be able to save a little bit of fuel at the front now with a gap of about 11 seconds over this pairing. And Paul Mansell currently running in 4th, so we'll see how the fuel strategy plays out. Luke Fitt, our leader of our amateur class, so there are 2 classes. There's a race within a race here. Luke Fitt, the leader of our amateur class, and he's currently up in P8 doing a stellar job. So he's got Michael Rosenblatt to contend with at the moment. Rosenblatt looks like he's got some pace on, but Josh Fitt is responding. Doing a cracking job at it, as well as this battle continues for 8th outright on track. But, Josh Fitt currently in the lead of the amateur class. He's got Dale Carpenter and Glenn Seto-Rydell in behind him. Guys, he just runs really wide there. That is a shame for Luke Fitt. And Dale Carpenter just goes by there into the lead of the amateur category. So there's going to be a little bit of work to do there for Fitt if he's going to make that back up. He's running on his brother, in fact, in J&L Racing, so you can see there the twins in unison. But he has dropped out of the lead of the AM category, so he'll have a little bit of work to do. Jeff Connell, Dennis Katarik jump into pit lane. These two haven't been able to be separated since the pass was made, so they're now going to fuel themselves up to the end of the race with just on 19 minutes to go here. They will make it to the end, so this will be one heck of a race to the finish for those two. This looks like Jack Boyd's starting to come under pressure from Ross Rizzo as well, as that gap closes down at the front between Boyd and Rizzo. Half a second now. That's for 2nd and 3rd place. Look further back down the field. Phil Audie, Guy Leach, and Daniel Cheney. This is for 13th, 14th and 15th. We are going to see the battle here progress. These guys still got to make another stop though. So the adjusted order has them in the mid-20s once they do their pit stop. It was a tough race, the incident at the start there, so just joined us. There was a big incident a couple of corners in, just through the chicane in the first lap of this race. So a number of our drivers have to jump into pit lane early at the end of lap 1. Car on its roof and what have you, so try and unwind that a little bit tomorrow in a replay and find out what actually went on there. So do jump on our socials and have a look at that tomorrow if you're around. On YouTube as well, it's Facebook and Twitter and Twitch. Chuck it up on there for you all to see. But it is Shane Wallace at the moment dominating at the front here. We're at Imola, if you're not familiar with the racetrack as well. Of course, a track with much history. It's, looks like Andrew Hayes, Sam Lehman and Phil Audie have had an incident. We'll just quickly jump back and have a quick look at that. Hayes there on the outside of the track. Looks like he's just turned in a little bit there on Lehman as well. Audie unfortunately got caught up in that one. Innocent bystander in the simrigs.com entry. And a little bit of damage there as well. Oh, he's cut just straight across there as well. So is Audi. They've got to get into pit lane. A risky business there for them, but managed to keep it clean and get that done. So we're back live again now. On board with Shane Wallace. And he is now into pit lane to make his final stop of the evening. With 15 to go. Have a look at the relatives of the stop times. Did take less fuel on his first stop, Wallace. So it was a 14-second stop first time around. Let's just stay with him here. Just keep an idea. 11 seconds this time. So just to fuel him up to the end there. 15 to go, but it does give Jack Boyd temporarily the lead of the race. Good timing for Wallace as well. He's just starting to get into some traffic, so that worked out well. The timing of his final stop. So suspect that you may see Boyd and Rizzo come in as well, just to get out of this traffic, get some clean air, because while they're fighting through the pack, Wallace has got a clean run at it. Jump on board with him here, and you can see he's got clear track in front of him now, so he'll be able to put in the times he needs to, just to extend that lead ever so slightly at the front as well. So Boyd and Rizzo will be aware of that. Yeah, longer first stop, so maybe they're able to do a shorter second stop, run a little bit longer, but it's only an advantage if they can do those ultra quick lap times in the 42s to make sure that they close the gap, do that undercut that is ever so vital for them. They're going to put any pressure on Wallace at the front of the field. Let's see what Boyd does here. No. Oh, he's pulled in late. Love it. He's pulled in very late there. So trying to throw in a little bit of dummy for Ross Rizzo. Rizzo goes around again for another lap. So he's going to assume the lead of the race. I like this move from Jack Boyd. It means he's not going to get held up. Shane Wallace is going to put in a flyer this time around. As you can see, he's closed the gap on that Porsche in front of him. He's having a few blinking issues. Looks like Joshua Fitt, I believe. So the outlap here for Wallace, 1:56.13, so nice and rapid. It's the benefit of not being caught in that traffic. So see how this plays out for him. Ross Rizzo, race leader at the moment, just making his way through some more lap traffic. Jack Boyd has come out of pit lane, and it's about 12 seconds off the lead. Just cycle our way down the field a little bit here, just touch in on some of these other battles that are still raging on right throughout the pack. Hayden Jackson, Jeffrey Wang having a little bit of a battle as well. You can see that Wang's got John Baldwin behind him, so this is for positions 15, 16 and 17. These three have been fighting away for a few laps now. Jordan Peter jumps in for his final stop. Looks like Glenn Seto Rydell is going to follow him in. He does indeed, as does Joshua Fitt. So Ross Rizzo continues on in that Lamborghini. Certainly won't be fuel saving. He's making his way past here at the sweeper. A little bit more traffic up in front of him again. It's like Mitchell Bolton and Tim Audy, I think, in front of him there. Trick Esports entry of Ross Rizzo, 784. Last season he ran the Big Bertha BMW. Season switching to the Lamborghini, so he gets through there. Work from the lap traffic. At least his Porsche on the outsides knows he's there, so he's going to be able to close it out here down into the last couple of corners. Just see if he jumps into pit lane. He's definitely not saving fuel, no question about it. And he comes, gets it pulled up, stopped nicely on the line there. So question is he going to come out? Where's he going to come out relative to Jack Boyd? So this is our podium battle. It's Ross Rizzo, Shane Wallace and Jack Boyd. So Wallace is just on his way by now. He's going to resume the lead of the race. You can see Rizzo already on his way out. So it was a really short stop there. 8.5 seconds. So he's going to have closed up some time. Question is, where's Jack Boyd? Rizzo there, just on the exit of pit lane. See him just to the right of your screen. There he is. So this battle has closed right up. And Boyd there just gets underneath him. Oh, it's quite a battle here on the exit. Rizzo fighting for position. He's going to try and hold that position. He's also got Bruce Di Carvalho up in this battle as well. That is for position. Carvalho's driven a good run. So this is our battle. You can see there we've got 3 fighting for it. Boyd resumes P2 behind Shane Wallace, but we're 3 wide now as Rizzo and Di Carvalho fight round through the sweeper. 555 mad cow entry of Bruce Di Carvalho doing a great job. He's appeared out of nowhere to get this one. So here we are. We've got just under 10 minutes to go, 8.5 minutes to go in fact, and Ross Rizzo has come out in the heat of the fire, and he's got hard charging Bruce Di Carvalho behind him in that Lamborghini. This has allowed Jack Boyd just to open up a gap ever so slightly, and so he's not battling for it. He's out of this battle, and this will suit him. He'll be able to open up a little bit of a gap, give himself some breathing space, while Ross Rizzo worries about defending for his position from Bruce Di Carvalho. So this has worked out really well for Jack Boyd. Ross Rizzo, much shorter stop, 8.5 seconds for fuel. Benefited from that longer first stop. Starting to sort of calm down a bit now. Ross Rizzo just opened up that gap ever so slightly over Bruce Di Carvalho. So can Rizzo chase down Jack Boyd now and push for a P2 finish? He'll be happy if he can. Still got time to do it. Going to have about 4 more laps to go here. So he's got some work to do, but he's still got time to do it. The gap fore and aft is 3/4 of a second, so he's in his own little pocket. He'll get the benefit of the draft. He's going to try and shake the draft for Di Carvalho. He's just cracked that 1 second barrier, so that draft now will be almost ineffective, but he is closing in on Jack Boyd. In the BMW. It's a little bit further back in the pack, Rydell under pressure from Daniel Webster. So Webster's managed to recover his race after those early incidents he was involved in. Of course, he started around P7, and he unfortunately got caught up in that first lap incident. Sent him down towards the back of the pack, so he's been making his way up as Paul Mansell jumps into pit lane. So this will sort out our race order as Boyd and Rizzo go around again. Di Carvalho jumps into pit lane. He must have pitted very, very early, as this will be his 3rd stop. So he's going to drop out of contention here. So we're back to the way things were. Shane Wallace, Jack Boyd, Ross Rizzo, our front three at the moment on screen is Jack Boyd and Ross Rizzo. This is the battle we're focusing on here to get into the closing stages. 5.5 minutes to go. Means there's 3 laps remaining in this race. Just off on the infield there. Might have been Brady Buchanan. Just getting out of the way. So Jack Boyd here has got Ross Rizzo all over him. How will this one pan out? Jump on board now with Ross Rizzo. He's full of gas, so he's ready to go. Just a little bit loose there for Boyd. You see the back just starting to break a little bit as he went into the corner. Didn't help him at all. It would have been unsettling as we head up here to the chicane. They get real aggressive over the curbing. Lambo, how does that respond to it in comparison to the BMW? Hold the line here as we get down to this last section of the track. 2 sweeping left-handers. Head back out onto the main straight for another lap. Filled to the end. Who is going to get this job done? Well, one person, Shane Wallace, is out at the front. He is going to get this job done short of an issue. 17 seconds to the good at the front here. But Boyd under pressure again. They head down through the first of the chicanes. Just looking like that Lamborghini's just got a little bit of extra pace in it at certain segments of the track. Just not enough to get the job done on the BMW. Certainly during the benefit of the draft is Ross Rizzo, but just not enough to be allowing him to make a move. Speaking of moves, Maverick Benson getting the job done on Christopher Hen here down into turn 1. That is a change for position there. Benson back up into 17th. So he's had a good run there. It looks like Chris Sturdy's got Tim Hancock that he needs to worry about as well in the Mad Cow entry. These guys have been fighting away all night, 40 minutes worth. It will be by the end of the race. They have not stopped battling for positions 21 and 22. Looks like Paul Mansell also has Jack Widders to deal with, as Mansell's dropped 1 position there. Danny Davison, another one who's come from nowhere. He pit on lap 11, however, Danny Davison, so I'm expecting that he may need to jump back in again before the end of this race, unless he is managing fuel. He needs to be getting out of it a little bit earlier to try and make that happen to get through to the end of this race. So things have just widened ever so slightly here as they get around to complete another lap. So there'll be 1 more lap after this. So effectively the white flag is raised in this 40-minute feature race here for the Aus Pro-Am Sim Series on FGM eCast. There is only one question. Can Ross Rizzo find a way past Jack Boyd? Jack Boyd's last lap around was his best lap of the race, so he's putting everything into keeping that BMW in 2nd position. He's doing a ripping job of it as well. Recovering from that race 1 issue. He's going to get P2 here if he can hold Ross Rizzo out for another lap. Now race leader, he'll round and start 1 more lap before this one's over. So these gentlemen have another lap to be able to try and sort this out. Danny Davison looks like he's going to try and manage to the end here. It'll be 2 stops. It'll be a long 2nd stint for him. A couple of drivers throughout the field doing the same thing. Brendan Levin just pitted on lap 8, so he's been running a fair old while. You don't mind, Shane Wallace just put the hammer down. He's done a 1:41.97, fastest lap of the race. On the penultimate lap of the race, he's collected the white flag. He is on his way around for the last lap on this evening's race. You can see the white flag being waved in the background there. The gaps just open up a little bit here. Rizzo just dropping a little bit. One of the stronger opportunities for the Lamborghini to make a pass on the BMWs down into that first chicane. So he's just too far away to get that done. Just going to have to plan around where he makes that move this lap. Where does he think he can get it done? Can he get it done? Has he got enough in it to get past Boyd in that BMW? Boyd defending, the Lambo looking, seeing if he can get a move down the inside. He's just not going to get the pace to run up through the sweeper, so he's going to hold off. I reckon he's going to try it up into the chicane. Slowest part of the track. It's a great opportunity for passing. Needed to get a good run out of the sweeper. Needs to get through here well as well. Use all of that exit curve. Try and make sure that he's able to get far enough up here under brakes. Go through the right-handers. It's going to be that opportunity. I think that's going to be the one he's going to have to take. We're almost there. He's just not far enough up to get a move on. He's throwing everything at it. It looks like he's not going to be able to make that move as Wallace crosses the start-finish line to make it back-to-back wins for him here at Imola. And he drove a very, very solid race. Once again, congratulations to Shane Wallace on P1. Looks like Jack Boyd's going to take out P2. Good recovery drive from him. And Ross Rizzo finishes in P3. What a fantastic race from those drivers. Very, very well run. I'm going to jump back a little bit further in the field. There'll be more racing going on back here. As you can see here, a pass. Maverick Benson is going around Matty Carleone, but he is trying to catch Glenn Seto Rydell. Can he make a move on the last lap? Doesn't look like it there. It's not quite going to be able to get the job done. So that will stay as it was. Who else is still racing through the field? We can have a look at Dale Carpenter and Bruce Di Carvalho in the drag race to the start-finish line. Not quite going to be able to get things done either there. So fairly tame finish to this event after what was a very, very hectic start. Andrew Lawler and Sam Lehman look like they're having a drag race to the finish. They are indeed. Lehman gets the cops it there a little bit from Lawler. And the Dent Tech livery, they get a drag race right to the line there. And it was a 10th at the end between Lawler and Lehman for position. So very, very close finish there. It was for P32, would you believe it? So race well run from everyone there. What a great finish that was. And we'll have a look at the outcome in a minute. But Daniel Webster and Luke Fitt fought it out for the lead of the AM class, but it was Luke Fitt who took it home in the end. Daniel Webster finishing second and Glenn Seto Rydell finishing in third. So let's bring up the results, if you don't mind, overall for this evening. Just wait for them to tick over. We will get our drivers into the booth for a quick post-race interview. Just waiting for the results to come up, and there they are. So it was Shane Wallace, Jack Boyd and Ross Rizzo as your top three for tonight, with Danny Davison and Jack Wittes in fourth and fifth. Then Dennis Gitarik, Paul Mansell, Jeff Connell, good recovery drive from him, Jordan Peter and Michael Rosenblatt rounding out your top 10 in the pro category. For the amateur, it was Luke Fitt from Daniel Webster and Glenn Seto Rydell as our top three drivers. A good strong run from them as well. Webster just recovering from that early race incident, and also seeing there that he managed to get back up into 12th. So biggest mover of the night was Danny Davison, a whopping 44 positions to finish fourth. He'll be absolutely pumped with that result, and a really good one from him to get that one across in fourth position. Pit early and ran the long strategy, and it certainly worked out to his advantage. So just waiting here for the drivers to jump into the green room, and we will drag them in for an interview. while we're waiting, mentioned earlier, we're back on Thursday night with the AUSPROAM Cup Series. So we make our way towards the chase for that series for this year. So do jump in and join us on that one, 8 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time for the AUSPROAM Cup Series. And then we'll be back again on Tuesday evening with Aus Pro-Am on FGM eCast. If you have joined us tonight, thank you very much for jumping in. There's been plenty of action for you to see, so it's a good one to jump in on, and appreciate those of you who do give us the subscription on the way through. Almost got all the drivers here, just waiting for one more, Jack Boyd, to jump in. We'll have a chat with him. Just quickly get the other boys in. Say hello here as we just wait for Jack Boyd to jump in, but we'll get started. Ross Rizzo, welcome to the booth, mate. A good run tonight, just not quite able to get past Jack there at the end.
Yeah, I had a great race with Jack. Really thought about having a bomb into Tosa on the final lap, but then had a look at the replay and realised I was a lot further back than I initially thought. So good thing I probably didn't go for that. But nah, Jack drove a beautiful race. I wasn't expecting to actually be anywhere near the likes of Jack, given his form this season. So I'll absolutely take P3, and especially how race 2 started and how qualifying went. Absolutely thrilled to be on the podium.
Yeah, absolutely. The start of race 2 there, a little uncharacteristic for the series and what we've seen so far, but certainly played into your advantage. You managed to make your way through it.
Yeah, just had to make sure I got around Paul Mansell, who was doing his best Fernando Alonso impression to help Esteban Ocon and Shane Van Gisbergen here. But yeah, just made sure to get out in front because felt I could beat him on pace, and then yeah, had that race with Jack, and it was just an absolutely thrilling race in the end, so very pleased with that.
Yeah, absolutely, and bring Shane into the conversation as well. Shane, you managed to make your way through that as well, mate. Just the old trust from, it reminds me of the Days of Thunder there, and just hope that everyone clears the path and gets through.
Yeah, it was a bit crazy at the start, but yeah, just the seas sort of parted for me and just was patient and worked out perfect. But yeah, the Lambo is really good around here. The stop-go tracks, it seems to suit, so yeah, we were all quite speedy.
Yeah, and had a good run there as well with your teammate at the start of the race too. So once you were able to get back up there and run with him for a bit.
Yeah, it was awesome. So yeah, we both led, which is pretty cool. Paul's a master of the race 2 grid position and worked out well. Yeah,
he managed to hold off Jack for a while as well, and I think Jack copped a slowdown, so he drove a good one and ended up with a good finish in the end as well. But obviously another back-to-back win for you, so congratulations on a strong run again tonight, and just a shout-out to your sponsors and your team.
Yeah, thanks a lot, man. Yeah, just get some nice gears from Omen by HP, and also HR Sims got me some cool gear, so yeah, always thanks to those guys. It's always much appreciated.
Fantastic, and another good result for you tonight there. And Ross, I think we might have lost Jack. I think he might have had to jump out. So, mate, we'll jump onto you and just the usuals from you as well.
Yeah, thanks again to FGM eCast, Trick Esports, Trick Custom Fabrications, and Pro Singular.
Awesome, guys. A race will run very, very entertaining tonight, which was helpful because I was up here by myself, so I appreciated it as well. So congratulations. Our podium for tonight, Shane, Jack Boyd, and Ross Rizzo. Well done, gents.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Welcome. So there we are, guys. Another race run and won here on the Aus Pro-Am Sim Series. I can't believe it. We're already over half. I think that's halfway through the series. In fact, next week will bring us there. So we are off next week to a relatively difficult track by my estimation in the way that it looks, particularly if we get such a strong turnout again next week. So we look forward to bringing you that one. The racing is going to be furious, if anything, from tonight is to go by. So do join us again at 7:45 next Tuesday evening as we head to Barber Motorsport Park for that event. It's going to be a big one, and we look forward to seeing you then. Carl Withy, look forward to having you back in the booth, mate, along with Scotty as well. So until then, hopefully we'll see you on the stream on Thursday night when we're back, 7:45 FGM Ecast for the Anscar Cup Series. Until then, thanks to everyone who tuned in tonight. We really appreciate it, and that's a bye for now.